Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. This time out we have more preview pages for Legend of Korra Turf Wars Part 3. We got 2 just a couple of days ago, now we have 4 more. These 4 come from Paste Magazine. Link to the article that reveals them is in the description, but they say it's their kind of exclusive first look. Unfortunately, they're a little bit late on that, in that it's not actually the first look, but you know, either way, these are new pages. It's exclusive that they have these specific pages. But anyway, let's get into them. We don't know specifically where in the book they take place, and I assume they potentially do come more or less like immediately after maybe the 2 that we previously had. But anyway, let's get into them. Here's the first page, and we can see here General Iroh and also one of the other, I assume, United Forces members. They're obviously surrounding the Spirit Portal as we see a bunch of bison coming in, because obviously from Part 2 we know that the Airbenders' plan is to peacefully march and protest around the portal to get rid of Raiko's kind of army barricade around the portal. So this is where you're beginning to see all of the different kind of groups form up close or in or around directly the portal. And we see that the orders are that, don't make a move here, because, if they move against the Airbenders, that's going to look terrible, because the Airbenders have respect for what they do around the world and so on. And we see Iroh here has to again play the role of just kind of being the guy who just happens to be in charge. He ultimately probably agrees with Tenzin on this matter, but he has to follow Raiko's orders, and he still needs to get everyone out of there. Again, emphasizing Milo's a little bit more aggressive, and Tenzin trying to teach him the right way to go about things. They both want a peaceful resolution, but Tenzin stands his ground here. We're not leaving until United Forces do, and Iroh's like, okay, this means we're going to be here a while, as he walks off. We then cut over to, I suppose, what's happening with the police force, and Lin specifically. Obviously Mako, Bolin are there, as well as Korra, and Korra wants to strike immediately. We know that because Asami is in trouble, and she wants to get Asami back as soon as possible. But the situation that we find out here is that the Triple Threats aren't letting anyone leave their apartments. Tokuga's threatening to turn the neighborhood into rubble if we try to move in, and Mako obviously knows he's not bluffing because of what he did previously. And Korra doesn't want to do nothing, and a nice little moment here with Korra and Lin. Lin obviously has heard about her relationship with Asami, and just kind of promises we'll do everything we can to get her out. And Korra says, thanks, Asami and I have been in tough spots before, but this time feels different. So yeah, that's our preview pages here. We're going to transition, I assume, probably the next pages go into what Asami is actually up to, who she's in or around, is she being asked anything, that sort of thing. Again, nothing too, I think, massively important. Obviously the plot stuff in the first 2 pages is somewhat interesting, but I still feel that they really need to expand on the plot. They need to really cover in depth what's happening. To me, the most interesting faction in all of this is actually the spirits themselves. That's the plot I'm most interested in, what's going on with the spirits, more so than any of this kind of triad, Asami's kidnapped stuff, because, Asami's going to make it out of this, Korra's going to make it out of this. I don't really care massively about Tokuga, so, once they have a decent resolution to them defeating him and so on, I want pretty much just to get him out of the way so we can deal with the bigger issues of what's happening with the Central Spirit Portal in the end. How did the spirits feel about whatever resolution happens because of that? And then I do want to see how the presidential race goes, and that, is that going to be resolved in Part 3, or are we going to have to wait multiple further comics to see how that actually comes out? Because obviously we saw in the previous 2 preview pages that it is now public that everyone knows that Zhu Li is running against Raiko, and even the triads are aware that, look, someone's running against him, Raiko's probably not going to be in power anymore, and it just seems like a just default thing. Everyone knows whoever runs against Raiko is going to beat him if they have any sort of power, and we see that Zhu Li actually is a very good candidate. So I don't know if there's enough time in this book to resolve everything. I think that's the biggest fear going into Turf Wars Part 3, is just that there's a lot going on. Not all of it super interesting, and I don't know if the actual really good stuff is going to have time to come to the forefront. But I assume a lot of people will be happy once they get some nice Korosami stuff out of this. Unfortunately, the plot hasn't been great up to now, but hopefully they manage to turn it around, and in the rest of the book that we haven't seen yet, they really managed to kind of make it all kind of worthwhile, that this was a series actually worth kind of reading. But they're my thoughts on the preview pages so far. I think I said it before, I'm not overly excited for Turf Wars Part 3. I'm excited because it's been so long since we've had a full comic. Like, again, Turf Wars Part 2 came out in January and the book still isn't out yet, so it's unfortunate that we've had to wait so long, and then it's not the most exciting book, but it is a Part 3. Usually Part 3s end up being reasonably good. I don't think we've been let down massively by Part 3s in the past. Hopefully they managed to bring this one home and hopefully set up something going forward. Again, I hope they announce Korra Comics, what's coming next for them, sooner rather than later, so we can, I think, move on to better stuff, more important stuff. Because I suppose my biggest fear with Korra Comics going forward is that we just get utterly lost in relatively mundane political stuff going on in Republic City. And what I mean by that is that the presidential election, I think, is only really interesting to see if Raiko is just taken out as president and whoever comes in play. I don't really care to see the actual full election race and them running against each other. That seems a bit overly political, and just little things like that I'm a little bit worried about that we're going to get lost in, or moving away from some of the more, I suppose, adventure aspects of the series. But hopefully they can bring it back on track. But yeah, they're my thoughts. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on these new preview pages for Turf Wars Part 3. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.